So I had an idea today. What if I simmed the 2024 season, but I went ahead and suspended all the best players in the league? And that's exactly what I did. So you can see right here, there are some players who will actually be injured, but once they're done being injured, then they will be suspended. So for example, it says uninjured, right? No injury, and 0 length or injury length, meaning it's right now they're indefinitely suspended. Now, all of these players are suspended for 18 total weeks. So that, if you include the preseason is what, 4 weeks? And then there's 14 weeks of the regular season they are suspended for. So they're not going to come back to the end of the regular season. If they do come back at the end of the regular season, I'm not sure if the computer can actually bring back suspended players. But we're going to find out. Because if they can't, well, these playoffs are going to be quite the interesting playoffs. Because all the players you're seeing on the screen right now are not going to be in the playoffs. Or, well, they could potentially be in the playoffs. They're not going to be in the regular season. I also wonder who's going to win MVP award at this point. I'm going to guess it still somehow becomes Patrick Mahomes. Even if he only plays 5 or 4 games for the rest of the season, I still see him winning MVP knowing Patrick Mahomes. But let's go ahead and get right into the season. So week 1 here, we got the preseason. And let's see what happens when I sim it. So, when I sim it here, in theory, all those players should still remain suspended. Just want to double check just to make sure the game doesn't glitch. Because it's going to be really weird. Yeah, so they're all still suspended. They're suspended for 18 games. Okay, I just want to double check this. One weird thing about this, right, is going to be the fact of, will they come back or not? Because again, like I said, Madden is very weird when it comes to things working and not working. And you're not really supposed to suspend players, okay? That's not really what you're supposed to do. But also, you need to pick up a 53-man roster. And when your players are suspended, you got to pick up some players to make up for the players that are suspended, right? So, for example, let's go ahead and look at our roster right here. Actually, let's go ahead and go to best team available here. Because we have all these guys suspended, somebody else has to fill this roster up. So, for example, Carson Wentz is our starting quarterback. Our receiving core pretty much the same. I did not suspend Rashee Rice, by the way. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's not that crazy. Because there's only like, what, 5 or 6 players suspended per team. So they just got to replace the 5 or 6 players. And in theory, they probably have backups. But I did suspend every team's quarterback. So that's another thing. Let's just get right into the first game. So Ravens, Chiefs. How is this going to go? No Lamar Jackson and no Patrick Mahomes. 23-21. Actually a pretty good game. Pretty good score. How did this end up going? Devin Leary versus Carson Wentz. So a rookie versus an 8-year veteran. Justice Hill. Wow. This looks like a pretty good game, but also a very boring game at the same time. A very boring good game. Let's see the first week, and let's see if there's any crazy scores we should look at here. I can't think this is going to be a high-scoring season. Without any of the quarterbacks all being suspended, the best running backs, the best wide receivers, the best tight ends, I just feel like a lot of bad teams are going to be good. I just simmed it. Oh, okay. That was weird. Did I just sim it 2 weeks? Hold up. I did just sim it 2 weeks. Okay. Interesting. Let's go back to week 1. Alright, so 9-13. Chargers went ahead and that's a weird score. 16-10. 40-3. The Commanders beat the Buccaneers. And that's with Marcus Mariota, because there is no Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is suspended. So there's no Jaden Daniels. Holy crap. Wait. Hold up. What are the stats looking like right now? Like, who leads after 2 weeks? Who leads the NFL? Let's go up to NFL here. Aiden O'Connell leads the NFL. This is the system of backups. Bryce Young. Bryce Young did not get suspended. It's official. Anthony Richardson also did not either. This is a very interesting couple weeks. How are the Raiders leading? They have no Jimmy G. Or not Jimmy G. They have no Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew got suspended. So I don't know how they're leading now. 4 sacks. Okay, 3 interceptions. So far, so interestingly weird. We got Jake Browning and Spencer Rattler as the offensive defensive player of the week there. Okay. This is probably the weirdest idea I've done so far. And again, like I said, I just don't know who's going to win MVP. But let's just sim a little bit here and see what can happen. So the Chiefs right now are 2-1 on the season. I just want to go, let's go to mid-season, and then we're going to look at stats here. And the problem is, injuries are on. So injuries are going to happen. Players are going to get hurt left, right, and center. And you're going to have to put in backups without your stars in anyway. This would be the most boring season of all time. Like, this would be just so boring to watch if this was actually football. It's amazing how much I think we take for granted the stars in the NFL. Because if these guys were, like, suspended like this for a year, bruh, football would be unwatchable. Alright. Although, Chiefs are so 4-3, man. I hate that. There's, like, a part of me that hates that so freaking much. Okay, so, after, like, what, 9-10 weeks here, Bryce Young leads the NFL. Michael Pratt, Aiden O'Connell, James Winston, Drew Lock, Bo Nix. Okay, Mac Jones, Mike White. This is insanity. Running backs, Bijan Robinson leads the NFL. I should have suspended Bijan Robinson. I should not have left him alone. Jacoby Myers is the best receiver in the NFL. Adam Thielen, Wicks, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Austin. Okay. How about the sacks leaders? 10 sacks for John Franklin Myers. 5 interceptions for Jonathan Jones. All right. Are we in MVP territory yet? Like, starting to talk about MVPs? We are. Arnold, Bo Nix, okay, Hassan Reddick. A lot of defensive players are now up for the MVP race. Ryan Tannehill with the Patriots is up for MVP race. Who is that? Who is that guy? The guy that they just showed there. He is a right outside linebacker for the Falcons. He has 9 sacks on the season. He might win MVP based on how many sacks he gets. This is interesting. So if the players are going to come back, the stars, they would come back on week 14, I believe. So let's sit in the week 14 and let's see if the players come back. Because if they do come back, well, this season's going to turn around very quickly. Somewhat very quickly. All right, so let's get to week 13 here, and now let's get to week 14. And the Chiefs are losing players left and right. They're just literally giving more players to the injury bug here. All right, so let's take a look at this. Injury report. So they're still suspended, but I think they might come back next week. So week 14, they would still be technically suspended. They're suspended for 18 games. So they should be back week 15. If not, then they can't come back from suspension. All right, hold up. Let me go back into this. Let's go to injury report. Are they all back? They are not. So they can't come back from suspension. Interesting. So if a player gets suspended in Madden, they're automatically suspended for the whole season. Now the question is, will they be suspended for the postseason too? Again, like I said, all things I gotta think about with Madden. Because Madden's not like real life. Real life is a little bit different than Madden sometimes. So let's just keep going. See how this ends up turning out here. I'm just gonna double check to make sure. Yeah, no, they're still suspended. So I think, or I believe here, they're still going to be suspended. Now, what I'm going to do is, we're going to go to the postseason, okay? And if they're still suspended, I'm going to unsuspend everyone in the postseason here. So, let's see. Okay. And I'm going to guess that everyone is still suspended. They are. Okay. So, the Chiefs did make the playoffs, okay? Who are the playoff team? The Broncos are in the play. Okay, we have a lot to look at. I'm about to unsuspend everyone, but let's look at the stats before we do that. So, stats-wise, Mike White led the NFL. Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, Jameis Winston, Bryce Young, Aiden O'Connell, Michael Pratt, Carson Wentz, Kenny Pickett. Okay. Running backs, James Conner led the NFL. Gus Bus is number 2. This is a travesty. Tyler Boyd was the best receiver in the NFL. Yeah, this is some bad football right here. Clowney led the NFL in sacks. 9 interception for Byron Murphy. Okay. And MVP award was Bo Nix. James Conner was number 2. Devin Duvernay was number 3. Jesus. Alright. Hold up. What's this playoff schedule looking like? Alright. The Bengals are in. The Broncos are in. I'm about to... I mean, is it really going to... It's not going to affect a lot of these teams that much to unleash the floodgates. But I'm unleashing the floodgates. Hang on, guys. Alright, for whatever reason, these players cannot be unsuspended. I cannot make them no longer suspended for some reason. So once you suspend a player, they're suspended for the whole year no matter what. Like, you can't change anything to stop this. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I went through every setting trying to change it, and I could not. The Steelers went 4-13, Ravens 7-10, 9-8 Bengals, and the 13-4 Brownies. So we're about to see a Super Bowl with potentially the worst quarterback combo in human history. But the AFC East, man, that was absolutely loaded. The NFC North, okay. The NFC North, I love the Bears made it 8-9. Beautiful. 10-7 Panthers. 12-5 Falcons, man. Eagles and Cowboys sucked, okay. Cardinals and Seahawks made it. It's like every team that, in theory, should not make it, made it. And every team that shouldn't have made it, wait, no, every team that did make it, shouldn't have made it. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so let's sim 1 week, and let's see this mid-off, as I would call it, for this playoff run. So, the mid-off of the playoff run here, we have the Denver Broncos beating Bo Nix, MVP, beating Jake Browning. Caleb Williams, not in this game. So, who is their Bears quarterback? Austin Reed beat J.J. McCarthy. Wow. Titans, is that Will Levis? It is Will Levis, because he actually somehow didn't get suspended. He beat... Who was that again? Ryan Tannehill. Excuse me. Ryan Tannehill. The Seahawks lost to the Cardinals. The Miami Dolphins beat the Jets. And Panthers beat Washington. So I know for a fact, obviously, Carson Wentz and Bryce Young. Who are the quarterbacks here? Mike White and Jordan Travis. Jeez. Okay, who are the quarterbacks here? Sam Howell and Desmond Ridder. This is football, guys. If you ever want to talk about football, that's some football right there. We are watching the most mid-off suspension of the season going into here. So now, let's actually go ahead and take a look at this way. You go to the playoff thing here. Dolphins beat the Brownies. The Titans beat the Broncos. Falcons beat the Bears. And the Cardinals beat the Panthers. And I want to see this real fast. Who is the Browns quarterback? Jameis Winston. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Titans obviously beat the Broncos. Still a very good game. So now let's see how this championship game goes. which I'm gonna assume is not gonna be good. But let's go ahead and sim to the Super Bowl here. Titans versus Cardinals in the most mid-off you could have. So schedule, let's go over the playoff schedule, and Titans beat the Dolphins and Falcons lost to the Cardinals. So Cardinals Titans Super Bowl. Oh, that sounds like such a beautiful Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl ends up being, survey says, 31-28 Titans win. So this is what happens when all the best players get suspended for a season. Bo Nix wins MVP. Raheem Morris is Coach of the Year. James Conner is Offensive Player of the Year. Hassan Reddick is Defensive Player of the Year. Roman Duze is Rookie of the Year. Latu is Defensive Rookie of the Year. Will Levis is Super Bowl MVP, and the Titans win their first Super Bowl. Let's just hope and pray this never happens in real life. Where the whole league just gets suspended. For no other reason. And now all those players, as you can see, are no longer suspended. So now they're officially unsuspended once the season ends. So they were officially suspended for the official length of the season. Even though they were only set for 18-week suspension, for some reason in the game, you cannot unsuspend a player. So they're suspended for the whole entire season. Interesting. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.